I mostly read public domain books here on Glenn Reads Books to You, and they were written a long time ago, so they're usually racist, or sexist, or bigoted, but in there somewhere is a story, and that's why those stories are famous. Other times, I read works from independent authors, and they're delightfully not racist, but they might have adult language or adult situations, like, making sex. So that's your warning, but I'm sure you're grown up enough to handle it. Don't write to me complaining. Home again, jibbity job. I'm finally back from the hospital, and and then you're here again. You're either at the hospital, just staring at me while I lie in bed, or you're here, back at my house, when I'm trying to convalesce. I think I'm using that word right. Welcome to the Glenn Reads Gothic Books to You podcast, a fun little bit where I pretend to live in a mansion and not just recording in my basement, as I read the hottest public domains of short stories. We're continuing to read Jane Eyre, an autobiography by Charlotte Brontë. Want to learn a little about the author? I hope so. I took the time to steal this from Wikipedia. Charlotte Brontë was born April 21st, 1816, and died March 31st, 1855, at the age of 38. Was an English novelist and poet, and was the elder sister of Emily Anne and Branwell Brontë. Whatever. I'm still convalescing. You want to hear some fun facts I stole from worldfacts.com? This up bottom of the barrel. This book goes on forever. I'm not even halfway through the book yet, and I'm running out of fun facts to talk about. So I just got this list. The novel was adapted into a play in 1848, just 1 year after it was published. There you go. That must have made the author happy before she died of drinking corpse water. The first film adaptation of Jane Eyre was made in 1910, just 63 years after the novel was published. She wasn't alive for that. Jane Eyre has been adapted for film and television more than 20 times. The novel has been translated into over 50 languages. In 2012, a musical adaptation, of course, of Jane Eyre was premiered on Broadway. Don't get me started. Don't get me started on musicals. Hey, I hate that the musical industry will take anything and then just make a musical out of it. They did it with Shrek, for Christ's sake. Wicked. I read the book Wicked when it came out in the 2000s. I don't remember what year. And I read it and I'm like, it's okay. It's like a different take on the Wicked Witch thing. Okay, whatever. That's the edgy times we live in. And then it's like, oh, great, now it's a musical. And of course, my niece was just excited. I got to see the musical. I'm like, what songs are they going to make up out of this? Like, who cares? But they did. Apparently, you can crank out songs that just hypnotically make people want to sing along, and then you just, kind of vaguely put the story around it. You don't have to actually have anyone act. They just kind of, sing all their words. It's ridiculous. You ever see the movie Chicago? Or the musical Chicago? I did. I got tricked into it with my ex-wife and her family. I said, we want to go see a movie. And so we're like, okay. So we go to the movie theater and it's Chicago. It's about gangsters. And I'm like, oh, okay. I hate musicals so much that I sat there and they started singing and I was like, oh no. And then as the movie went on, I couldn't leave because I'm there with the in-laws and stuff. And I thought, oh, God. And I actually felt like I was going to cry for real. Okay, well, that's probably the best. It's the grandfather clock telling me to shut up and start reading the story as I convalesce here. Why don't we go down to the library? Well, there you go. Why don't you take yourself a little seat as I lay here in my hospice bed here in the library. Hey, just going to get these little covers up around my knees. Chapter 15. Mr. Rochester did, on a future occasion, explain it. It was one afternoon when he chanced to meet me and Adele on the grounds, and while she played with Pilot and her shuttlecock, he asked me to walk up and down a long beach avenue within sight of her. He then said that She was the daughter of a French opera dancer, Céline Varens, toward whom he had once cherished what he called a grand passion. This passion Céline professed to return with even a slight ardor. He thought himself her idol, ugly as he was. He believed, as he had said, that she preferred his télé d'athlète to the elegant. Right, there's so much French in here, and if you don't know any French, what did everyone know French back then in England? I guess they're practically neighbors, kind of. All right, to the elegance of the Apollo Belvedere. And Miss Eyre was so much was I flattered by the presence of the Gaelic sif for her British gnome that I installed her in a hotel, gave her a complete establishment of servants, a carriage, cashmeres, diamonds, dentelles, etc. In short, I began to process the ruining myself in the received style. Like any other, spoony. I have no idea what's going on in this chapter right now. Do I even remember what I read in the last chapter? Probably not. I had a lot of White Claws. I had not, it seems, the originality to chalk out a new road to shame and destruction, but trode the old track with stupid exactness, not even to deviate an inch from the beaten center. I had, as I deserved to have, the fate of all other spoonies. I don't remember why she's calling herself a spoonie. Happening to call the one evening when Céline did not expect me, and I found her out. Oh, but it was a warm night, and I was tired with strolling through Paris. So I sat down on the boudoir, happy to breathe the air of consecrated so lately in her presence. No, I exaggerate. I never thought there was any consecrating virtue about her, It was rather a sort of pastel perfume that she had left, a scent of musk and amber, and then an odor of sanctity. And I was just beginning to stifle with the fumes of conservatory flowers and sprinkled essences when I bethought myself to open the window and step out to the balcony. It was moonlight, and gaslight besides, and was very still and serene. The balcony was furnished with a chair or two, and I sat down to get a cigar, and I will take one now, if you'll excuse me. Here he ensued a pause, filled up by the producing and the lighting of a cigar, having placed it to his lips and breathed a trail of Havana incense on the freezing and sunless air. Oh, he went on, I liked bonbons, too, in those days, Miss Eyre, as I was coquant. Then M dash, parentheses, to overlook the barbarism, end parentheses, and M dash. Okay, coquant. Chocolate comfits, and smoking alternately, watching meantime the equipages that rolled along the fashionable streets toward the neighboring opera house, when an elegant close carriage drawn by a beautiful pair of English horses, and distinctly seen in the brilliant city night, I recognized the voiture. Oh, God, I've never hated France as much as I do right now with this book. I had given Céline period. She was returning, of course. My heart thumped with impatience against the iron rails I leant upon. The carriage stopped, and as I expected, the hotel door, my flame, that is my very word for an opera immorta, alighted. Oh, though the muffed in a cloak and unnecessary encumbrance, by the by, on so warm a June evening, I knew her instantly by her little foot, seen, peeping from the skirt of her dress. And as she skipped from the carriage step, bending over the balcony, I was about to murmur "Manage," in a tone, of course, which should be audible to the ear of love alone, when a figure jumped from the carriage after her, cloaked also. But that was a spurred heel which had rung on the pavement, and that was a hatted head which had now passed under the arched portiere cochère of the hotel. Don't care. Have you ever felt jealousy? Did you, Miss Eyre? Of course not. I need not ask you, because you never felt love. You are both sentiments yet to experience, and your soul sleeps, and the shock is yet to be given, which shall waken it, and you should all exist and lapse and quiet as a flow, in that which your youth has hitherto slid away, all floating on with closed eyes and muffled ears. You neither see the rocks bristling not far off in the bed of the flood, comma, nor hear the breakers boil at their base, period. That was a long sentence. But I will tell you, and you may mark my words, you will come someday to a craggy pass in the channel, where the whole of life's stream will be broken up to a whirl and tumult, foam, and noise. Either you will be dashed to the atoms on crag points or lifted up and borne on by some master wave into a calmer current, as I am now. I like this day. I like that sky of steel. I like the sternness and the stillness of the world under this frost. I like Thornfield, its antiquity, its retirement. And its old crow trees and thorn trees, its gray facade, and the lines of dark windows reflecting that metal welkin. What's a welkin? This is the first word I'm going to look up out of all this bullshit. It's the sky or heaven. Okay, well, that was a waste of time. And yet, how have I abhorred the very thought of it, shunned it, like a great plague house? Oh, how do I still abhor M-. He ground his teeth. And he was silent. He arrested his step and struck his boot against the hard ground. Some hated thought, it's hated thought, not heated, I want to be heated, but it's hated thought seemed to have him in his grip and to hold him so tightly that he could not advance. Oh, we were ascending the avenue when he had thus paused, and the hall was before us. Lifting his eyes to his battlements, he cast over them a glare such as I had never seen before or since. Pain, shame, ire, impatience, disgust, detestation seemed momentarily to hold a quivering conflict in the large pupil dilating under his ebon eyebrow. Wild was the wrestle which should be paramount. But another feeling rose and triumphed. Something hard and cynical, self-willed and resolute. Oh, it settled his passion and petrified his countenance, and he went on. During the moment I was silent, Miss Eyre, I was arranging a point with my destiny. Oh, she stood there by that beech trunk, a hag, like one who appeared to Macbeth on the heath of forest. You like Thornfield? She said, lifting her finger, and then she wrote in the air a memento, which ran in lurid hieroglyphics all along the house front, between the upper and lower row of windows. Like it if you can, like it if you dare. Well, I will like it, said I. I dare like it, and, he subjoined moodily, I will keep my word. I will break obstacles to happiness, to goodness. Yes, goodness. I wish to be a better man than I have been, than I am. And as Job's Leviathan broke the spear, the dart, and the habergeron. Okay, I'm looking it up. Habergeron. Still can't pronounce it. Sleeveless coat. Oh, for Christ's sake. Hindrances, which others count as iron and brass. I will esteem but straw and rotten wood. Adele. Screw you, I'm still sick, and it's my podcast. I'm not going to edit that out. Adele here ran before him with her shuttlecock. Away, he cried harshly. Keep at a distance, child, or go in, Sophie. Continuing then to pursue his walk in silence, I ventured to recall him to the point whence he had abruptly diverged. Did you leave the balcony, sir? I asked when Madame Varens entered. Oh, Mademoiselle Varens, I don't care. French. I almost expected a rebuff for this hardly well-timed question, but on the contrary, walking out of his scowling abstraction, he turned his eyes toward me, and the shade seemed to clear off his brow. I had forgotten, Celine. Burp. Well, I said burp before I actually burped. Well, to resume. When I saw my charmer thus come in accompanied by a cavalier, I seemed to hear a hiss, and the green snake of jealousy rising on undulating coils from the moonlit balcony, gilded within my waistcoat, and oh, God, I hate having a cold, and ate its way into 2 minutes to my heart's core. Strange, he exclaimed, suddenly starting again at that point. Strange that I should choose you for the confidant of all this, young lady, passing strange that you should listen to me quietly, as if it were the most unusual thing in the world for a man like me to tell stories of his opera mistress to a burp, quaint, inexperienced girl like you, exclamation point, but the last singularity explains the first. As I intimated once before, you, with your gravity, considerateness, and caution, were made to be the recipient of secrets. Besides, I know what sort of mind I have placed in communication with my own. I know it is, one not liable to take infection. It is a peculiar mind. It is a unique one. Happily, I do not mean to harm it, but if I did, it would not take harm from me, and the more you and I converse, the better. For while I cannot blight you, you may refresh me. After this digression, he proceeded. Oh, God, he's still fucking talking. I remained in the balcony. They will come to her boudoir, no doubt, thought I. Let me prepare an ambush. So, putting my hand in through the open window, I drew the curtain over it, leaving only an opening through which I could take observations. Then I closed the casement. All but a chink, just wide enough. I say a chink, just wide enough to furnish an outlet to lovers' whispered vows, and then I stole back to my chair, and as I resumed it, the pair came in. Oh, my eye was quickly at the aperture. Celine's chambermaid entered. A little lamp, left it on the table, and withdrew. The couple were thus revealed to be clearly. Both removed their cloaks, and there was the Varens, shining in the satin and the jewels, my gifts, of course, and there was her companion, in an officer's uniform, and I knew him for a young roux of a vicomte, don't care, a brainless and vicious youth whom I had sometimes met in society, and I had never thought of hating because I despised him so absolutely. On recognizing him, the fang, I say the fang of his snake jealousy was instantly broken, because at the same moment my love for Celine sank under an extinguisher. A woman who could betray me for such a rival was not worth contending for. She deserved only scorn, less, however, than I who had been her dupe. They began to talk. Their conversation eased me completely. Frivolous, mercenary, heartless, and senseless. It was rather calculated to weary than enrage a listener. A card of mine lay on the table. This being perceived brought my name under discussion. Neither of them possessed energy or wit to belabor me soundly, but they insulted me as coarsely as they could in their little way, especially Celine, who even waxed rather brilliant on my personal defects, deformities, she termed them, like his giant forehead and his long, thin nose. Now, it had been her custom to launch out in fervent admiration of what she called my beauté male, whatever. Therein she differed diametrically from you, who told me point blank at the second interview that you did not think me handsome. The contrast struck me at the time. Adele here came running up again. Monsieur, Jean has just been to say that your agent has called and wishes to see you. In that case, I must abridge. Opening the window, I walked in upon them, Liberté Serene for my protection, gave her notice to vacate her hotel, offered her a purse of immediate exigencies, I'm not looking it up, disregarded screams, hysterics, prayers, protestations, convulsions, made an appointment with the Vicamote for a meeting at the Bois de Boulogne. Next morning, I had the pleasure of encountering him. Left a bullet in one of his poor, located arms, feeble as the wing of a chicken, in the pip, and then thought I had done with the whole crew. But unluckily, the Varens 6 months before had given me this Fleet Adele, who, she affirmed, was my daughter. And perhaps she may be, though I see no proofs of such grim paternity written in her countenance. Pilot is more like me than she. Some years after I had broken with the mother, she abandoned her child and ran away to Italy with a musician or a singer, and I acknowledged no natural claim on Adele's part to be supported by me, nor do I acknowledge any, for I am not her father. But hearing that she was quite destitute, I E-N, took the poor thing out of the slime and the mud of Paris, and transplanted here, to grow up clean in the wholesome soil of an English country garden. And Miss Fairfax found you to train it. But now you know that she is the illegitimate offspring of a French opera girl, and you will perhaps think differently of your post and protege. Oh, you will be coming to me someday with notice that you have found another place, and that you beg me to look out for a new governess, etc. Eh? No, Adele is not answerable for either her mother's faults or yours. I have to regard for her, and now that I know she is, in a sense, parentless, forsaken by her mother, and disowned by you, sir, I shall cling closer to her than before. Oh, how could I possibly prefer the spoilt pet of a wealthy family who would hate her governess as a nuisance, to a lonely little orphan who leans towards her as a friend? Oh, that is the light in which you view it. Well, I must go in now, and you too, it darkens. But I stayed out a few minutes longer with Adele and Pilot and ran a race with her, and played a game of battledore and shuttlecock. When we went in, and I removed her bonnet and coat, and I took her on my knee and kept her there for an hour, allowing her to prattle as she liked, not rebuking even some little freedoms or trivialities into which she was apt to stray when she much noticed, which betrayed in her a superficiality of character, inherited probably from her mother, hardly congenial to an English mind. Still, she had her merits, and as I was disposed to appreciate all that was good in her in the utmost, I sought in her countenance and features a likeness to Mr. Rochester, but found none. No trait, no turn of expression, announced relationship. It was a pity. If she could have but proved to resemble him, he would have thought more of her. It was not till after I had withdrawn from my chamber for the night that I steadily reviewed the tale of Mr. Rochester had told me, and as he had said, there was probably nothing at all extraordinary in the substance of the narrative itself, a wealthy Englishman's passion for a French dancer, and the treachery to him were everyday matters enough, no doubt, in society, but there was something decidedly strange in the paroxysm of emotion which had suddenly seized him when he was in the act of expressing the present contentment of his mood. Oh, and his newly revived pleasure in the old hall and the environs. I meditated wonderingly on this incident, but gradually quitting it as I found it for myself, at present inexplicable. And I turned to the consideration of my master's manner to myself. The confidence he had thought fit to repose in me seemed a tribute to my discretion. I regarded and accepted it as such. His deportment had now for some weeks been more uniform toward me than at first, and I never seemed his way. He did not take fits of chilling hauteur when he had met me unexpectedly, and the encounter seemed welcome. Now he had always had a word, and sometimes I smile, for me. And when summoned by formal invitation to his presence, I was honored by the cordiality of reception that made me feel I really possessed the power to amuse him, and that these evening conferences were sought as much for his pleasure as for my benefit. Oh, God, that was annoying as hell. I hate Mr. Rochester with all my heart. He's the most annoying character I've ever read in my life. And I've read a lot of horrible books from a long time ago, which are racist, and this is the worst character. Why don't we go down to the basement, where I can tell you about the latest upcoming books from Penguin Random House. Yes, I know, you always get that face. You make that face. Every time I say, let's go in the basement, you make that face. Nothing's ever happened in the basement. I've never been untoward in the basement. I made it cool. You'll go down there. I actually got some new furniture installed since I've been home from the hospital. I really want to pep it up down there. So why don't you get down to the basement, and I can tell you about the books. Oh, I got you, fucker. I didn't do anything to the basement. It's exactly the same as the last time you've been here. I didn't put a lot of furniture in to make it a cool place for teens. It's still the same wet, dripping basement it's always been, and you're going to sit there in that folding chair underneath that naked light bulb while I stand here. underneath this naked light bulb, playing my guitar for you. It's going to be this way forever. And as long as you keep coming to my house, forcing me to read to you, you're going to be in this wet basement with no cool furniture and no Pearl Jam playing on the hi-fi. You're just going to sit there, and I'm going to tell you about stuff like Asa, As I Knew Him, by Susanna Kaysen. Dinah Sachs and Asa Thayer have had a love affair. They're conducted in afternoons, stolen from the office of the magazine where they work. Oh, that's the most forbidden kind of love. Work love? That's a salty and dangerous love. But now that the affair is over, Dinah, affair like someone's cheating? Dinah, on an act of lingering passion, invents a narrative of Asa's youth, imagining the events that shaped the, quote, happy, handsome man, unquote, who, in her words, was, quote, born to stomp on my heart, unquote. Witty and sexy, funny and immediate. No, that's immediate. Asa, As I Knew Him, is a seductive dialogue between love and memory, obsession and illusion. It's Asa, As I Knew Him by Susan Kaysen. It's paperback for $16, coming out on April 19th. This is late. This is supposed to be new. It's April 25th right now. It's 176 pages, so that'll be fast. It was made in 1994. That's what it's published in 1994. It was like a reissue. Is their website broken? Why am I getting old books from 1994 on April 19th, 1994? 176 pages for $16 from Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, Bookshop.org, Hugs and Booksellers, Powell's, Target, and Walmart on what's supposed to be the new Penguin Random House upcoming releases. It's part of the Vintage Contemporaries series. Let's look that up. Let's find out. Come on. I clicked the link, then nothing's happening. Everything's broken. PenguinRandomHouse.com is the worst goddamn website I've ever been on my entire life. Lately, every time I come here, they keep giving me old books that's like a week old or a year old, or it's like, oh, you reissued it as an audiobook, and I'm supposed to give a shit? Nobody gives a shit. All right. You should go up. You should go upstairs. I'm going to have some time down here in my wet basement. I'm going to try and soothe myself with my own guitar playing. So, that's right. Get up. Yep. Okay, go upstairs. Okay, yep. All right. Yeah, I'll be up there in a little bit. No, I'm going to keep reading. Okay, bye. I can't keep doing this. I've been sick for like a week and a half. I can't. I'm supposed to sit here and keep reading this shit to make. Who am I making happy? I got one listener that I make happy. Who the hell am I even doing this for? I do like this riff. Okay. Yeah, there we go. All right, I'm feeling good. I think I gotta pee. Okay, well maybe I'll take a piss. You know what? I don't want to have to like walk past that asshole upstairs and then like go up to the bathroom. So I guess I'll just piss down here. I don't know. There's got to be a place. I mean, I don't have a sink down here or anything. Maybe there's a floor drain. Okay, here we go. Ugh, it kind of took a second to get started. I wonder if I got like a prostate issue. Ooh, I got a little piss shiver. That's kind of fun. Okay, well, I guess that's good. All right, focus. Gotta find the energy. I'm gonna read to this asshole upstairs. Okay, here we go. I'm coming. Oh, there you are. Oh, you just been sitting here waiting for me? Okay, I'm bringing this kind of energy to the show right now. You're a lot of fun. I love that you're here. Why don't we pick up where we left off, huh? That'd be kind of fun. I, indeed, talked comparatively little, but I heard him talk with relish. It was his nature to be communicative, and he liked to open a mind unacquainted with this world, glimpses into its scenes and ways. parentheses, I do not mean its corrupt scenes and wicked ways, but such as derived their interest from the great scale on which they were acted, the strange novelty by which they were characterized. And I had a keen delight in receiving the new ideas he offered, in imagining the new pictures he portrayed, and following him in thought through the new regions he disclosed, never startled or troubled by one noxious illusion. The ease of his manner freed me from painful restraint. The friendly frankness, as correct as cordial, with which he treated me, drew me to him. I felt at times as if he were my relation rather than my master, yet as he was imperious, sometimes still, but I did not mind that. I saw it was his way. So happy, so gratified did I become with his new interest added to life, that I ceased to pine after kindred. My thin, crescent destiny seemed to enlarge. The blanks of existence were filled up. My bodily health improved. I gathered flesh and strength. And was Mr. Rochester now ugly in my eyes? No, reader, gratitude. And many associations, all pleasurable and genial, made his face the object I best liked to see. His giant forehead, his long nose, his pouty, supple lips. His presence in a room was more cheering than the brightest fire. Yet I had not forgotten his faults. Oh, indeed I could not, for he brought them frequently before me. He was proud, sardonic, harsh, to inferiority of every description. In my secret soul, I knew that his great kindness to me was balanced by unjust severity to many others. He was so moody, too. Oh, unaccountably so. I, more than once, when sent to read to him, found him sitting in his library alone, with his head bent on his folded arms. And when he looked up, a morose, almost malignant scowl blackened his features. But I believe that his moodiness, his harshness, and his former faults of morality, I say former, for now he seemed corrected of them, had their source in some cruel cross of fate. I believed he was naturally a man of better tendencies, higher principles, and purer tastes than such as circumstances had developed, educated, instilled, or destiny encouraged. I thought there were excellent materials in him, though for the present they hung together somewhat spoilt and tangled. I cannot deny that I grieved for his grief, whatever that was, and it would have given much to assuage it. Although I had now extinguished my candle and was laid down in bed, I could not sleep for thinking of his look when he paused in my avenue and told how his destiny had risen up before him and dared him to be happy at Thornfield. Why not, I asked myself. What alienates him from the house? Will he leave it again soon? Miss Fairfax said he seldom stayed here longer than a fortnight at a time, and he has now been a resident 8 weeks. 8. If he does go, the change will be doleful. Suppose he should be absent spring, summer, and autumn. How joyless sunshine the fine days will seem. I hardly know whether I had slept or not after this musing. At any rate, I started wide awake on hearing a vague murmur. A peculiar, lugubrious. Lugubrious. Why can't I say this word? Lugubrious. Luxury. I give up. Looking sad, dismal. Which sounded, I thought, just above it. I have a cold, so fuck off. I wished I had kept my candle burning. The night was drearily dark. My spirits were depressed. I rose up and sat in bed, listening. The sound was hushed. I tried to get to sleep, but my heart beat anxiously. Hold on. This word is bugging the shit out of me, so I'm going to call my wife and... Wife! She's also really sick. Wife! Wife! How do you pronounce this word?
Lugubrious.
Lugubrious, are you sure?
Yes.
That sounds like a stupid way of saying it. Well, I have also pulled it up on howtopronounce.com, and we're going to find out the correct way of saying this word.
Lugubrious.
I don't think you said that.
I'm going to pinch your nipples off.
Pinch my nipples off.
Get
out of my mansion.
Pinch them off and set them aside.
You're done. All right, back to the story. Okay, where did we leave off? My inward tranquility was broken. The clock, far down the hall, struck 2. Just then it seemed my chamber door was touched, as if fingers had swept the panels and groping it away along the dark gallery outside. I said, who is there? Nothing answered. I was chilled with fear. All at once, I remembered that it might be Pilot, who, when the kitchen door chanced to be left open, not infrequently found his way up to the threshold of Mr. Rochester's chamber, and I had seen him lying there myself in the mornings. The idea calmed me somewhat. I lay down. Silence composes my nerves. And then, in an unbroken hush, now reigned again throughout the whole house, and I began to feel the return of slumber. But it was not fated that I should sleep that night. A dream had scarcely approached my ear when it fled, affrighted, scared by a morrow freezing incident enough. There was a demonic laugh. It was low, suppressed, and deep, uttered, as it seemed, at the very keyhole of my chamber door. Oh, the head of my bed was near the door, and I thought at first it was the goblin laughter stood at my bedside, or rather, crouched at my pillow. But I rose, looked round, and I could see nothing. While, as I still gazed, the unnatural sound was reiterated, and I knew it came from behind the panels. Oh, my first impulse was to rise and fasten to the bolt. My next, again, to cry out, who is there? Something gulped, gurgled, and moaned. Ere long, steps retreated up the gallery towards the third-story staircase. A door had lately been made to shut in that staircase, and I heard it open and close, and all was still. Was that Grace Poole? And is she possessed with the devil? Thought I. Impossible now to remain longer by myself. I must go to Mrs. Fairfax. Hurried on my frock and shawl, I withdrew the bolt and opened the door with a trembling hand. And there was a candle burning just outside. And on the matting in the gallery, I was surprised at the circumstance. But still more, I was amazed to perceive the air quite dim, as if it filled with smoke. And while looking to the right hand and the left, to find whence the blue wreaths issued, I became further aware of a strong smell of burning. Something creaked. It was a door ajar, and that door was Mr. Rochester's, and the smoke rushed in a cloud from thence. I thought so more of Mrs. Fairfax. I thought no more of Grace Poole, or the laugh. In an instant, I was within the chamber. Tongues of flame darted around the bed. Oh, the curtains were on fire, and in the midst of the blaze and vapor, Mr. Rochester lay stretched motionless in a deep sleep. Wake! Wake! I cried. I shook him, but he only murmured and it turned. The smoke had stupefied him. Not a moment could be lost, and the very sheets were kindling. I rushed to the basin, and Eyre, fortunately, was one was wide and the other deep, and both were filled with water. And I heaved them up and deluged the bed and its occupant, flew back into my own room, brought my own water jug, baptized by the couch afresh, and by God's aid succeeded in extinguishing the flames which were devouring it. The hiss of the quenched element, the breakage of a pitcher, which I flung from my hand when I had emptied it, and above all, it's kind of like in an action movie, when you fire the gun and when you're all out of bullets, you just throw the gun at the person. Yeah, she did that with the basin. The splash of the shower bath I had liberally bestowed roused Mr. Rochester at last. Though it was now dark, I knew he was awake, because I heard him fulminating strange anathemas at finding himself lying in a pool of water. Is there a flood? He cried. No, sir, I answered, but there's been a fire. Get up, do. You are quenched now, and I will fetch you a candle. In the name of all the elves in Christendom. There's elves in Christianity? I never saw that in the Bible. Is that Jane Eyre? He demanded. What have you done with me, witch? Sorceress? Who is in the room beside you? Have you plotted to drown me? I'll fetch you a candle, sir. In heaven's name, get up. Somebody has plotted something. You cannot too soon find out who and what it is. There, I'm up now, but at your peril, you fetch a candle yet. Wait 2 minutes till I get into some dry garments. If there's any to be, yes, here's my dressing gown. Now run. Well, I did run, and I brought the candle, which still remained in the gallery. And we took it from my hand, held it up, and surveyed the bed, all blackened and scorched, and the sheets drenched, and the carpet round swimming in water. Well, what is it? And who did it? He asked. This guy's an idiot. I briefly related to him what had transpired, the strange laugh I had heard in the gallery, the step according to the third story, burp, the smoke, the smell of fire, which had conducted me to his room, in what state I had found matters there, and how I had deluged him with all the water I could lay hands on. Then there's a picture of them standing in a smoky room. He listened very gravely. His face, as I went on, expressed more concern than astonishment. He did not immediately speak when I had concluded. Should I call Mrs. Fairfax? I asked. Mrs. Fairfax? No. What the deuce would you call her for? What can she do? Let her sleep. Unmolested. Then I'll fetch Leah and wake John and his wife. Not at all. Just be still. You have a shawl on, and if you're not warm enough, you may take my cloak yonder and wrap it about you and sit down in the armchair there, and I will put it on. Now place your feet on the stool and keep them out of the wet. I'm going to leave you a few minutes, and I shall take the candle. Why? Why is he making her sit there? Why does he wake up and be like, why am I wet? What the hell's wrong with you? It's like, clearly something's wrong. And then he's like, well, what the hell happened? Now sit in this chair. I'll be back. I'm taking the one candle. You can sit in the dark. I'll be back. This guy's an idiot. Be still as a mouse. I must pay a visit to the second story. Don't move. Remember, or call anyone. Okay, maybe there's a mystery here. He owes someone money. He went, and I watched the light withdraw. He passed up the gallery very softly, unclosed the staircase door with as little noise as possible, shut it after him, and the last ray vanished, and I was left in total darkness in a smoky room. I listened for some noise, but heard nothing. A very long time elapsed, and I grew weary. It was cold in spite of the cloak, and then I did not see the use of staying. As I was not to rouse the house, I was on the point of risking Mr. Rochester's displeasure by disobeying his orders, when the light once more gleamed dimly on the gallery wall, and I heard his unshod feet tread the matting. I hope it is he, thought I, and not something worse. He re-entered, pale and very gloomy. Well, I found it all out, he said, setting the candle down on the washstand. It is as I thought. How, sir? He made no reply, but stood with his arms folded, looking on the ground. And at the end of a few minutes, he inquired in a rather peculiar tone, I have a cold. I'm very tired. I forget whether you said you saw anything when you opened your chamber door. I know, sir, only the candlestick on the ground. But you heard an odd laugh? You heard that laugh before, I should think, or something like it? Yes, sir, there's a woman who sews here called Grace Poole. She laughs in that way. She is a singular person. Just so. Grace Poole, you have guessed it. She is, as you say, singular. Very. Well, I shall reflect on the subject. Meantime, I'm glad that you are the only person, besides myself, acquainted with the precise details of tonight's incident. You are no talking fool. Say nothing about it, and I will account for the state's affairs. Point to the bed. And now return to your own room. I shall do very well on the sofa in the library for the rest of the night. It is near 4. In 2 hours, the servants will be up. Okay, good night then, sir, said I, departing. He seemed very surprised, very inconsistently so, that he had just told me to go. What? He exclaimed. Are you quitting me already? In that way? You said I might go, sir. Well, not without taking leave, not without a word or two of acknowledgement and goodwill, not in short, in that brief, dry fashion. Why, have you saved my life? Snatched me from a horrible and excruciating death, and you walk past me as if we were mutual strangers. At least shake hands. I held out my hand. And I gave him mine. He took it first in one and then in both of his own. You have saved my life. I have pleasure in owing you so immense a debt. I cannot say more. Nothing else that would have been tolerable to me in the character of a creditor for such an obligation. But you, oh, it's different. I feel your benefits no burden, Jane. He paused, gazed at me, words almost visible, trembled on his lips, but his voice was checked. Good night again, sir. There's no debt, no benefit, burden, obligation in the case. I knew, he continued, you would do me good in some way, at some time. I saw it in your eyes. When I first beheld you, their expression and smile did not, again he stopped, did not, he proceeded hastily, strike delight to my very innermost heart. Oh, so for nothing. People talk of natural sympathies, but I have heard of good genie, and there are grains of truth in the wildest fable. My cherished preserver, good night. Strange energy was in his voice, strange fire in his look. I'm glad I happened to be awake, I said, and then I was going. What? You will go? I'm cold, sir. Cold, yes, and standing in a pool. Go, then, Jane, go. But he still retained my hand, and I could not free it, and I bethought myself it expedient. I think I hear Miss Fairfax move, sir, said I. Well, leave me. He relaxed his fingers, and I was gone. I regained my couch, but never thought of sleep. Till morning dawn I was tossed on a buoyant but unquiet sea, where billows of trouble rolled under surges of joy. And I thought sometimes I saw beyond its wild waters a shore, sweet as the hills of Belua. And now and then a freshening gale, awakened by hope, bore my spirit triumphantly toward the bourne. But I could not reach it, even in a fancy, counteracting breeze, and continually drove me back. Sense would resist delirium. Judgment would warn passion. Too feverish to rest, I rose as soon as day dawned. Oh, thank God, that's the end of that chapter. Why don't we go down to the smoking room and review what the hell we just read? Oh my God, my sinuses are just exploding in my face. It's like my head weighs 1,000,000 pounds. Just dying. Where is this person? We just got done reading the story, and they're not even down here to go over the recap and what. Oh, fuck. Oh, there you are. Hi. Hi. I'm so happy you're here. Keep listening. Why don't you take a seat? There, here in the smoking room. And there you can see on the coffee table is a baboon's skull. And if you remove the top of his head, you can find that it's filled with cigarettes. Go ahead and have yourself a cigarette. Yeah, that's going to be fun for you. You're going to enjoy it. You can enjoy the cool, smooth flavor. There's a lighter over there. Yep. There's a lighter. You never smoked one. Why don't you actually light it? The lighter's right there. It's in the shape of a baboon's finger. Yep, just take the tip off. Yep, pull the nail back. There you go. Yep. Okay, so what did we learn in this episode? Not a lot. Every chapter is kind of the same as the story is progressing chapter by chapter. Only one thing happens in each chapter. So this chapter was... Well, I guess this chapter had two things happen. One, he's suddenly depending on her, and he's talking to her more and sharing his feelings, which apparently he's never shared with anyone else in his entire life, except for the French dancer. So he learned about his whole backstory and how the kids showed up there and everything. But then we also learned that instead of just being around for like a month or so, he actually sticks around for a lot longer. And so then, oh boy, I hope he doesn't leave. She's not putting two and two together that he's staying specifically because of her, but we are putting it together. And then, so that's kind of like normally how the episode or each chapter ends, is where it's like one thing happened. Okay, he shared his feelings with her, he likes her, and that would end. But no, this time we got a little extra added bonus, which is a demonic laugh happening through the keyhole. She opens up the door, and there's like a candle sitting on the floor, and his room's on fire next door, apparently. And so then she goes and she puts it out by putting water, and of course he's indignant, and he's churlish, and he's insubordinate. He's an asshole the whole time. That he's like, why am I wet? What are you doing? Why is it so smoky in here? You smoking a lot of cigarettes? But then he's like, oh my God, you saved my life. But he makes her sit in the room in the wet cold, in the complete darkness as he takes the one candle. And then he goes somewhere and comes back. He's like, okay, I got it all figured out. So who did he talk to? We don't know. Why is he wanting her to keep quiet and not tell anyone about it? I think he's got debt problems. We don't know. Why did he make her sit in the dark like a piece of shit? And then when she wanted to get up and leave because she's wet and cold and tired, and he's like, kept touching it, yeah, shake my hand. Don't never stop keep shaking my hand. And then he finally lets her go. She goes to bed. So that's how the chapter went. Basically, what do you take away from this chapter? I think he's more of a loser than she wants to admit because she's so attracted to his giant forehead and his long skinny nose and his full ruby red lips. So with that, thanks for listening, Mr. Moonbounce, and I will probably see you next week. Well, it appears you found me in the part of the podcast I hate the most, where I tell you all about the places on the internet where you can find me. You can tell I hate this because of the sound effects making it sound like a stormy night in the drawing room of the damned. Now, there's that. Are you cool? I like cool people. It's the reason why I got involved in this business to begin with, just to meet cool people, not losers. So if you're cool, feel free to go over to my website, nuzzlehouse.com. That's where you can find pretty much everything we've ever done, like Gestating the Curious Mind, where my wife and I make paranormal smut, Masterpiece Auditorium, where my wife and I review horrible literature, and Two Books, One Cup, a sometimes D&D podcast, sometimes debate show podcast, with friends like Ben from Words About Books and Elton from Elton Reads a Book a Week. We also have a Patreon that's been under construction forever, so you can give us money to pay our bills. And since I think you might be cool, you can always just email me directly, glenn.nuzzles@gmail.com. But don't email if you're a nerdlinger or a dork. Now, back to business. I can't believe I drank all of them already. There's got to be one left.